Welcome
Old goats.
to the Two Old Goats. My name is Tom. And this is
The Dickster.
the Dickster. That's right.
Richard.
So I have no topics today.
Oh, great. This is going to be short.
Yeah. Other than what gets my fucking goat. That's what
Yeah.
pissing me off.
Well, let's start with that.
Oh, where do I begin? So, last night we had a meeting, and the topic was good because I made it up.
Right. Of course.
It was talking about where you were at in what program you're working, right? Testing yourself. And I posed the question to go through the questions, see where you're at. And I did that once before in another meeting a few days before that. And the interesting thing was the individuals that didn't want to ask those questions, or let me rephrase that, didn't want to know the answers to that question.
Well, let's be clear. You're at where it's in our book, page 52, and it's at we're turning sentences into questions. And it's questions you're answering about yourself.
Correct.
That's why they don't want to answer them.
And they don't want to.
It's just not random questions.
Right. So my frustration was nobody wanted to be honest. I don't want to say nobody. There were some people that were being honest, but there was some that I don't know if they know that they're not being honest with themselves.
Right.
I think that's what gets it.
Right.
I know these individuals know things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they try to put themselves in an oblivion mindset and pretend that they don't know.
Well, I don't think they're pretending they don't know. I think a lot of times it was like Lyle Levitt says, she wasn't good. She had good intentions.
Okay.
And I think we a lot of times give ourselves credit for our intentions, and we start living on head knowledge. We have knowledge of what we're supposed to do, or spiritually what the right thing to do is. But then actually applying that, when it comes to the wisdom part of it, that's the part where we're blinded, because if we give ourselves credit that we've done something just because we thought it or we read it. It's like buying the damn book and putting it on the shelf.
Right.
If you read that book, that's going to help a little bit more. But if you actually start applying and doing what the book suggests, now we're talking about something real, some wisdom, I'm doing this, And I think that's what the frustration is. I think there are people there that we know when we're saying something and we're not being honest. The truth is, a lot of times we think we're not being honest with them, and the truth is we're not being honest with ourselves.
Okay.
Especially, in our group that hangs out together because we fucking know each other. And so we know when somebody says something and we go, yeah, that's not showing. You're not demonstrating that.
Right.
So, but sometimes we just have to, I don't know, let people be where they are until they want to get off the nail, so to speak.
Well, let them be where they're at. I get that premise, but at the same time, there's moments that I crave a real conversation. Right? Like, I really want to discuss the capital T truth. Right? And there's moments where I get really frustrated because I'm having a moment and everyone fucking thinks it's funny.
Right.
It's a joke now. Because I'm talking about something real.
Mm-hmm.
They'd rather fucking talk about what's going on in the real estate market today.
Right.
Who the fucking cares?
Hey, don't talk about the real estate. It's good. The real estate market is good in Houston, Texas.
But it's not.
Northwest.
But it's not good for a real
Especially
conversation.
Cypress, Tomball, and Katie. Excellent.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, it's called Richard Berry.
That's right. 713.
What I mean by that is the conversation that it's not leading to self-growth or self-improvement or self-reflection. It's just minutia. It's just nonsense to fill the fucking moment because nobody wants to look at themselves. Right? And I get frustrated because I want someone to look at me, you know, and be honest with me instead of their prejudice or their dick in the dog, which that's little Chrissy's new favorite saying now.
My what?
Dick in the dog, that's your new favorite saying.
He's off of chickens? He quit the chickens?
Now he's dick in the dogs. He doesn't kill chickens anymore.
Oh God. Oh God.
So, but having those truthful conversations, it's hard to find people that are willing to have those conversations. Right? So that's where I'm frustrated today with.
All right.
And and another thing that pisses me off.
Yeah.
This is where I'm at right now. I hate bullies. Hate them.
Yeah.
The assholes that pick on the weaker to make themselves feel better or for personal gain, whatever it may be.
Or just picking on weak people, period.
Weak people, right?
Yeah. It's usually because they have problems.
Taking advantage of them. Right. And I'm in a situation right now where I see the bully, I see taking advantage, and I can't do anything because if I do something, it puts my own personal well-being in jeopardy. And I have that dilemma of like, if I say something, if I stand up, I'm going to lose my livelihood, meaning I can't pay my bills now. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in this cross section. I don't know what to do. And I got frustrated today because I was talking to my wife about it. And she proceeded to say, well, why don't you do this? And why don't you do this? And why? I'm not asking you to tell me what to do.
Oh, you don't want her to solve your problems?
No.
But you've been solving hers.
I'm
just kidding.
There it is.
I'm teasing.
And this is the end of this episode. Fucker. I only solve her problems because I can.
I understand.
Okay.
Yeah.
She can't solve my problem.
That's because they're just too complicated.
Well, to be honest with you,
real
is I have experience in a lot of the things where I can solve her problems. She has no experience in this situation.
Okay.
Okay. And I love you, dear. I'm just saying.
Love you, dearest.
Just love you, dear.
Okay.
So, but the point was, is I'm sharing my feelings, which I usually, I struggle with that at times.
Right.
My personal feelings. And I'm sharing my frustration that I'm having a difficulty putting my head down on my pillow at the end of the night. Right? And one thing came to me on my way here today. And let me know if this is a good topic.
All right. A topic or a
You ready?
Accept?
Yes.
Don't say acceptance.
No.
Or we are done.
This is one of
over.
This is one of those, you know, like how you love the word acceptance.
Right.
Tell me if this one gets me going. Ready?
Okay.
Just let go and let God.
Oh.
Let God take the wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that pisses me the fuck off. That is the same thing as saying acceptance is the answer. Right? But that is what I heard. I remember talking to little Chrissy not too long ago about some situation. We're talking about eating better, right? And inviting God into the equation.
Right.
And that's one thing that I realized tonight on my way in with my frustration and my emotional discord. I don't know what the fuck to do. And at no point in time in any of those situations did I say, all right, God, you know, what do you want me to do here? What's the answer?
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I haven't done it yet because I don't think I want to hear the answer yet.
Well, I think you did at least bring it up with your boss, your current boss.
I did.
I say current because who knows?
Who knows?
Some people just can't handle others being candid.
It's true.
You know, it's like everybody loves the truth, but the application becomes difficult.
Well, absolutely. If you look at my last 3 employers, the number one reason why they hire me
Right.
is because they say, Tom, you're not a yes man. You're going to be that guy that tells me when I'm fucking up, and I need someone like you.
Right.
And then when I do it, they go, ow, you're fired.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to really tell me how I'm fucking up.
Well, I think that kind of gets back to what we were talking about last week. You know, can your life, the way you live it, support your dreams? And sometimes when those bosses get somebody who speaks to what they think their needs are, then they can't support it because they're not ready to make the changes or live the lifestyle that would support that.
Right.
So, but I don't have a solution, and maybe you should ask Amy. She could probably solve it for
There
you.
it is. There it is.
But I think, you did bring it up, and it's part of the review and or part of the getting to know this company and them getting to know you. So
Right.
you're going through the process. You started the process is what I'm trying to say. But it's good that you're not done with it, I think. So.
Well, the ironic part of the whole situation was the previous company I was working for, I had an issue with a micromanager
Right.
reading all my emails.
Right.
What's the purpose? You didn't hire me
Right.
to monitor me.
Right.
You hired me because you trust me, I know I'm doing, so I can make you a lot of money.
Hopefully that's why.
Well, then this new company, everybody monitors everybody's emails.
Okay.
All of them. And so this is where I'm like, God, you don't have to be that funny.
Yeah.
It's not that funny. You don't have to do it that way. Right?
Yeah. Could it be possible? I'm just saying, in the wildest realm of possibility that you're supposed to learn something. I don't know.
There comes a point in time,
Yeah.
Richard, that maybe I've learned enough.
Yeah. I hear you. Well,
I mean, I'm pretty sure there's enough knowledge up here. I should be good to go for a while.
okay.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
well, then,
absolutely.
since you agree with me, then
Mhm.
let's just cut it off here. I'm good to
Well,
go
you know
for
how
it.
I am about shows.
Yeah.
I love to watch the show. I love a good story.
Oh, I bet you do. I've known you for a decade. You love sitting back and watching this fucking show.
That's it.
Hey, watch, this guy's gonna fucking do it again.
Watch this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So God taps me on the shoulder and goes, "What's this?
Yeah.
Here it goes again." He goes, "This is normally what you're doing, but now you got somebody else
Right.
doing
I'm
it."
glad I'm here to
Yeah.
humor you.
Well, good. Well, that's all good stuff. I think you are right where you're supposed to be.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love it.
I'm gonna meet you outside afterwards. Show you where I'm at.
Yeah. Good.
All right. So do you have a topic then?
Not necessarily a topic. I had an interesting week. One of my daughters got married. My other daughter's already married. And, it was just interesting. We were, to cut to the chase and get to kind of where I'm going with this. It's the perspective or we were talking about last week. We brought up from the Bible, it talks about different types of time, Chronos and Kairos. And that's kind of the Kairos thought was what I was thinking the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
This is a daughter that, I was just at the whole thing when the family did the wedding. So it was a cool thing that, kind of brought us all together. And we got to do what our family does, and that's work together and do little events, whether it's camping out or, parties or Easters or special events, whatever. But, our family usually does the family thing. And so I could see that aspect of it. It was a good time because the family does need to be together right now. There's a couple things going on in parts of our family that need some healing.
Right.
And some relationships that need some healing, and it was good for that. And then, this is my daughter that not long after I got sober, she was doing her thing in her room in her house, and not getting along with my wife. And so after a period of time, you know, I felt like I had to go let her know she wasn't going to be able to live with us anymore if she wanted to continue that behavior. And, you know, the whole way up, I'm talking to God about, up the stairs, I'm talking to God about this ain't going to be good because I'm not good at this.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to do it. You know, we're never good at anything that we don't do very often, or we're doing it for the first time. We're not going to be very good at it. And, which this kind of fits both of those. But anyway, long story short, I go to talk to her and she interrupts and says, let me talk first, which I gladly do because I know what I got to say is not going to be any fun.
Mm-hmm.
And she tells me that she needs to go away to college and move out of the house and go live at college and all this stuff. To which I say, great.
Right.
I think you're right on. I don't know how you're going to pay for it, but that's what we need to do. How soon can we make this happen? And I'll help. You know, I'll help move her and all that. Well, you know the story. She did that. She took care of it. Didn't cost me anything but moving her up there in my pickup truck. And a couple weeks go by and I don't hear from her. I call her checking on her. And she says, I don't have time to talk. I got a job. I'm going to be on time. I don't have time to go to a party. I'm asking her about parties. She doesn't have time because she's got to study and blah, 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 blah. And I hang up thinking, who is this child?
Right.
This is not the child that I raised for 18 years. So basically, the resentment that I had was I had her for 18 years. God had her for 2 weeks. He turned her into a real human being. And so that's the daughter that we're talking about. So I've seen her grow. And I know, you know, about a year and a half or 2 years ago, she was getting the thing about getting the message of I think some Jehovah's Witnesses showed up at her house or at her apartment, and some other church thing happened, and then one of her friends told her, she was talking about meeting guys, and one of her friends told her, I don't know why you don't go to church. That would be, you know, all that. So anyway, we talked about it, and she decided she was going to start that spiritual journey, and made a big change. You know, went to a few churches and finally landed at one. Got involved in it, started making some changes, and you know, the crazy part about it is a lot like our program is. You know, it says in our book, we're rocketed into a fourth dimension. We're rocketed, like shot, quickly. When we change the things we're doing and we get in alignment, things really start to happen fast.
Right.
You know what I mean? So anyway, I see all this, and then I've known Michael for 14 years. I saw him come in the program and grow up. You know, he got here when he was 20, and he's, you know, that was 14 years ago. And so I'm looking at these two. I saw his journey, him getting ready. I saw God getting Taylor ready. I saw how they came together, and I mean, it was just all like a visual picture of, it was just filling up. Everything was ready. Okay, now it's time. And that was just a unique experience coming off of that, and a lot of good stuff. A lot of you know, nothing was a struggle. Everything was wonderful, I thought. But anyway, that was probably the biggest event in my life this week, and got a lot out of it. That was a big thing.
That is a big thing.
Yeah.
So when you talk about that, you know, I've been doing a lot of research since our last time we talked about that. I've heard two different enunciations or pronunciations, whatever it is. It's Kairos and Kairos. I've heard two different enunciations, but
What's the southern pronunciation? I'm southern.
Cairo.
Okay, I'm southern. I'm South Texas, so I'm the
Cairo,
South Texas version.
So the Kairos, Cairo, whatever you want to call it. Those are the moments, right? When everything starts lining up, the chronological things line up, right? And it's like what you were talking about is the Kairos is the umbrella. It's the everything. It's always here, right? But when we start lining stuff up and we start doing our due diligence for the good or for the bad, right?
Right.
It's just the things that we do, they line up a certain way, and there's moments where we see it, right? As long as we keep our eyes and our ears open, things happen. And the story about your daughter and Michael, it makes a lot of sense. I've seen it happen before where there's people that will be in and out of their lives. They've known each other for years, but they've never seen each other, right? Known each other for years, not weeks, not months, years, right?
Right.
And then all of a sudden, now they see each other.
Yeah, because they went on Facebook and they hooked up with their high school.
Right.
I don't know, but
But
yeah, I know
that's
what
how
you're
it
saying.
happens,
Yes.
right? Like my wife and I, it was very similar. We were at the same parties, we were here, but dude, I wasn't looking for settling down.
Right.
I was looking to try to figure out which one I wanted.
I got you.
There was a lot out there, so I was trying them all. You know?
I got you.
But it was 5 years.
Yeah.
And I knew my wife's family for 5 years. I didn't even know they had a daughter named Amy. And then I was walking in, she was walking out, just like with Taylor and Michael.
Right.
Dude, like, you're hot.
Yeah.
I like you, and boom, it just works.
Yep.
And that's when it's effortless.
Mm-hmm.
When you're able to step into those Kairos moments, it's effortless. It's the green lights the whole way. It's the parting of the sea. Everything just happens, right? So it's interesting, and it was awesome to be a part of it too, to be there and witness that, because it was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the wind was blowing so chaotically and the traffic was stupid, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when they walked down that aisle, everything stopped for that moment.
Yeah.
Did you notice
Yeah,
that?
it felt like it.
It was like silence. There was no more traffic, and there was no more wind.
Did you hear my sigh of relief? Oh, I got this one done.
Finally.
No.
Woo!
No.
One more to left.
No, not at all. But yeah, it was. And I think Neil did such a good job. I'm partial to Neil anyway, but it's just the sermon and all that. I think my daughter sent him an email trying to get the written script. I don't know if he wrote it out. He had his notebook or whatever. But anyway, some good stuff in there, and like you said, it was just everything was right where it was supposed to be.
Right. Well, did you hear Neil's joke at the beginning?
What was the beginning?
So he said, "Hey everyone, so we're about to begin, but before we have a few minutes, so if you want something to drink, we have margaritas for the Methodists and we have lemonade and tea for the Baptists."
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, and I was laughing, and he goes, "Well, at least somebody gets my joke, because nobody else got it. It was all crickets."
Right.
I go, "That's funny."
Right.
Right. Margaritas for the Methodists. And
That's right.
lemonade for the Baptists.
Well, it's funny because we had a lot of what we planned on the margarita consumption, because usually that's a big hit. In my daughter's last wedding, it was hard to keep up, even though we had a margarita machine, and we ended up, I call it selling out. You sell out on purpose. It increases but anyway, we ran out early, and so this time we were planning on it, but this time we had a lot of people there from AA. So consequently, we got a lot of tequila left over, and I think we poured out something like 6. There was 2 machines.
Don't
Last
say
time
it.
we
I don't
had
need to
one.
hear how much you wasted.
We didn't waste it.
Okay.
But we poured it into bottles, and I think we had 4 or 5 gallons of margarita mix.
Okay.
Different people took home to put in their freezer.
Oh, you didn't take it down to Tent City, downtown Houston?
No.
The Men's Center?
No, I don't want to stir that shit up.
Stir it up for sure.
Right.
They would have voted for me. Here, I'm running for mayor. Here's some margaritas. Oh, well, yeah, where did I vote?
That's right.
Vote Richie.
Right.
Talking about that, I went down there several years ago. I was showing my boys, how to be of service and go donate things.
Yeah.
So there was a deal or something at McDonald's where you could get like 2 cherry pies or 2 apple pies for $1.
Right.
So I went and I bought $100 worth of pies.
Cherry
We had
pies.
Cherry and apple.
Okay.
Bags and bags and bags of them.
Half for
You
them
probably
and
bought out
half
their
for
stock.
Tommy.
Well, we ate some on the way. It was quality control.
All right, I got you.
Check for poison,
Of course.
razor blades, things
Yeah.
like that.
From McDonald's.
From McDonald's, right?
One out of each.
Yes, just checking. But the interesting thing was, so my boys and I, we get out of the car. We go up to the tent city. It's where all the homeless people live, right? We go up there with the bags. A lot of them are like staying away from us, but we say, hey, we're just here to, it's free food, you know? The majority of people that came up to us would look at the bag and like, I only want cherry.
Right.
What? What?
What?
What? You only want cherry? Yeah. I don't like apple pies.
Yeah.
I don't like cherry. He goes, you're fucking homeless.
Yeah.
Take one of each.
Hey, it might have been a homeless chef. You don't know.
I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never seen that before in my life. And then on my way out, this guy asked for some money. And I said, man, I don't have any cash. He goes, it's all right. You can Zelle me.
Oh, okay.
He had his phone.
Yeah.
He's homeless. You can Zelle me.
Was that recent?
Yeah.
Apparently they did something in Houston where they gave a bunch of hobos phones in case they're getting like robbed or attacked or something like that. Yeah, I heard about that. Didn't know they
Shit,
could set up
Obama
that-
gave everybody a phone.
Didn't know they
Back
could set
in
up
the day.
Gmails and Zells though.
Right.
They got it going on.
absolutely. Oh, they got it going on. I've been asking people for me to sell them a handout or donation.
You can't buy no crack with Zell.
I don't know. I ain't bought no crack, so I don't know.
I think you can. Actually, from my understanding, it's a Cash App that was created by drug dealers,
Oh yeah.
from what I understand.
That was
Or it was created for drug dealers.
that
I
was
can't remember.
classic drug dealer because they don't get flagged as much, but then later on they started getting flagged.
Yeah.
So then they
I
switched
thought
it
that
to
was. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
basically they switched it to Venmo
Right.
and
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin.
I thought that's what Bitcoin was about.
For drug dealers?
Oh,
Yeah.
Little-
Or, you know, black market shit.
Yeah. That shows our
Stuff you
ignorance
don't-
because I have no idea. This is just what I heard.
Yeah.
Right.
No real experience.
Disclaimer.
Right?
I really don't know shit.
You really don't know.
Right?
Yeah. I
I'm
can vouch for
ignorant.
that. I can
Yeah.
vouch for
I
that.
appreciate
You really
that.
don't know shit.
Yeah. You're the best. So.
But yeah, that's really kind of about it. I think you know, getting back to those people real quick that I had thought while we were talking. Those people that you were
Frustrated with?
frustrated with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think, you know, we have time. We gotta give them time to grow up or something, or get enough pain to do something different. But I think we got to be careful of not allowing them that growth period or growth time, or just realizing that's what they're doing, and they have to feel the pain. I mean, I'm not the one to deliver it, I don't think, but
Deliver the pain.
well, it's their own consequences. Is what happens.
I
That's
have a
the
question. Is what you're experiencing a form of wanting to be able, maybe not necessarily control the situation, but influence it, but you just can't?
Are you talking about my ego, Chris?
Well, I don't know. I just know that you want to be able to do something about it, and you just can't, right?
So I think what happens is so for the majority of my life, there's been a lot of real shit in my life, right? And so I created conversations, I created situations, I created friendships, whatever it is, to mask, cover, hide, elevate, whatever it is, right? Because I didn't want to be in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So I created all these fucking conversations and situations so I didn't ever have to be where I was supposed to be at, right? So, and I was fine with that for many years because alcohol, drugs, whatever I was doing made it okay, right? Then when I got sober, just the mere thought of frivolous conversations that had no depth or weight to it, right? As our book said about frothy emotional appeal, right?
Right.
It didn't work for me, right? It worked for me for fucking years when I was drinking. Now that I'm sober,
Well, that was manipulation.
no, it wasn't. It's frothy emotion. and so now I crave real conversations.
Right.
I crave them.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why the fucking homeless guy wanted the apple pie.
Want to have a conversation.
He just wanted to have a conversation.
Could be.
I never even thought about that.
Yeah.
Because when I hear those conversations, and you guys will witness it when we're in a group and stuff, and they start talking about politics, they start talking about what's ever on the fucking news, or just frivolous, like, what do you do for a fucking living? I don't fucking know.
Right.
Fuck doesn't matter.
Right.
So when that starts coming up, I'm gone.
Yeah.
Right? I'm physically there at times because I don't want to be rude.
Right.
Right? But I shut down. I don't want any of that shit on me. I stopped listening. I don't hear it. Don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You know? So going back to what you were talking about, you know, is it me trying to control the situation or influence it? I think absolutely yes. Right? Because I like reading the Bible. Right? And so if you read the red part in the Bible, you don't see a lot of frivolous conversations between Jesus and the disciples. Right. You hear the disciples asking retarded questions.
Yeah, he tells some stories.
And then Jesus says, I've been with you for 3 years and you still...
Yeah, don't you know me?
Do you not have eyes? Can you not see?
Right.
Right? So that's what I'm talking about. And so if we're supposed to be, as a Christian, which means you're Christ-like, right? Why can't we continue to have those same conversations?
Right.
Right? Going back to the follow me or fuck off, right? Mm-hmm. That's what he said. Pick up your mat and go fuck yourself. That's what he said in the red part. I'm pretty sure that's what it said.
No, I think you're mixing up some things.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Pick up your mat and get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
No.
Walk.
Yeah. Walk your ass out of here.
Yeah. Don't return.
Yeah.
Don't return to the bad situation.
Don't it.
I'm pretty sure.
Say,
yeah.
Okay.
Same thing.
You say get the fuck. Well, I guess get the fuck out of here. Cover.
Well, you can't translate that into Hebrew. I don't think they have.
Well, in today's language, that's what it means.
That's what it means.
Yes.
In Hebrew, I don't think they had fucking Hebrew.
Right.
That's something little
Hebrew,
Chrissy looked
they didn't
at.
have Hebrew?
Is there a translation for the word?
His phone's up there.
Well, actually, I think there is a translation. It's called "Verily, Verily."
Okay.
I'm not sure. I'm ignorant of that. But I hope that answers your question.
I mean, it makes sense in general, like the way you move and the way you act, but in terms of that situation, that you not wanting to have frivolous conversations, basically is what you're saying, you'd have to have a non-frivolous conversation with your employer, straight to the fucking point, or nothing. You can't beat around the bush and be like, I mean, I get that, but that still doesn't explain the way you're feeling and the frustration you're getting out of it, and accepting the fact that you, at this moment, can't see a way to influence it.
Right.
Without you getting fucked, because you have to be so direct.
Well, that's where, am I trying to control the situation? Right? Who's my real employer?
Right. Who the boss?
Who's the real boss?
Right. Well, my point, meanwhile, back at the ranch, what I was getting to, and you brought up the Bible, which plays right into my hand.
Right.
So,
Speak it.
What I was getting to is, when those people are where they are, or when we are where we are in the moment, and, head knowledge and shit is what you're talking about that they're relying on and stuff. I think the spiritual term that we need to allow for is, I think they call it sanctification. As they learn, they're going to grow. And a lot of times we don't let people, like if we met them 6 years ago, our first impression of them is still that impression of them. Like they were klutzy or all over the place, or whatever. I see a lot of, families that have struggles, like a brother and sister who, somebody went through alcoholism or drug addiction, and recovered, gotten out of it, been sober for a long time, but the other family member still thinks of them as that person that's irresponsible and all that. So I think sometimes we kind of think of somebody as they are, but sometimes they just act like dumb shits.
Right.
That's,
I don't think it's an act.
well, we are. I mean, I worked with guys before that had significant time. And, one guy in particular, when I got him, he was 3 years sober, came to me for help, and or God sent him to me to help me is probably what happened. But, within 9 months, he was off all of his anxiety medication and everything, which that wasn't the goal. I'm not a doctor. I don't suggest that. I haven't experienced with that. That might come up sometime, but that wasn't the goal. It was just as he worked the program, aligned with the principles and stuff, and started doing things differently and living differently, the anxiety went away.
Right.
He didn't need the medication anymore, and we continued like that for years, another 2 or 3 years, and then the guy stops doing the things that are working, and within a year or so, he's gone. So, it's the head thing, and the knowledge is not the answer, and I think they're not asking enough questions. You were
Right.
talking about your subject last night. It's on page 52 in our book, the Alcoholics Anonymous. It's known as the what's it called? Bedevilments.
Mm-hmm.
And we take those and turn them into questions. It kind of came up in the meditation this morning too. I don't know if y'all saw that. What I said out. You said you liked today's text, but I think as we grow in this and as we read spiritual stuff, it's to answer those questions. It becomes more than yes or no.
Right.
In other words, the one that I picked out was, am I making I wasn't making a living.
Mm.
Well, early on when I first got here, that means, did I have a fucking job? And that was a plus. If I had a job and I had been going there for a consistent amount of time and actually getting paychecks, yeah, that was a living. But I've been doing this a while now, and that's not a living anymore.
Right.
That would be a job. So, am I making a living am I invested in my job? Do I like it? Do I service people? Do I help?
Mm-hmm.
Am I excited about it? Am I learning? Am I growing?
Mm.
Am I applying spiritual principles like you're talking about with your job, and not letting the company bully people and shit like that?
Right.
It gets a little more depth to it.
I agree.
So I think that's kind of the types of conversations you're talking about, and where we can go with that and all that. So.
Yeah, there were a couple people last night when they were talking about that question about making a living. Two of them specifically said, yeah, I just don't understand it. Before I stopped drinking, I made way more money.
Right.
So I don't understand it. I don't understand how I made more money before I got sober. And I know we're not supposed to crosstalk, so I didn't say anything. But the truth is that's because that was your master.
Right.
Right? Because you were willing to manipulate, do whatever it takes to make more fucking money.
Right.
But the truth is in the life of sobriety, in the life of the program, in the life of spirituality, in the life of service, you may not make as much money, but I guarantee you're more wealthy.
Oh yeah.
I guarantee you're more wealthy. I've made more money when I was drinking,
Mm-hmm.
but I have way more money now.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, you have way more value.
No, I have more money.
Okay.
I don't make more,
Right.
but I have more.
Okay.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well,
Right.
that liquor bill went down a little bit.
That my liquor bill, cigarette bill,
Fucking $100 and something a week, or a couple $100 a week, whatever it was.
a week, a day.
Yeah. Well, that where you were mixing potions and lotions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was drinking lotions and whatever it took.
Yeah. You're like Father Leo's joke.
What's that?
You have a banana, or you have a suppository in your ear.
Right? Oh, now I know where my hearing aid is.
There you go.
That's right.
That's it.
I have one more thing
Go
Okay.
for
that
it.
really gets my fucking goat.
Go on.
Oh, goat. Go
This
ahead.
morning, I was doing my 4-mile walk. I was walking back to the house at 6:30.
Yeah.
I see not one, not two, not three, but 6 cars.
All right.
Now keep in mind, it was 72 degrees, no wind, beautiful, everything was perfect. 6 cars sitting there with teenagers and their parents sitting there waiting for the bus.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that? My cul-de-sac is less than a quarter mile
And gated.
and gated.
Right.
Like literally, it's like 0.18 miles if you do the whole loop.
Right.
And they live
Right.
right there.
Right. Right.
And the parents drive them to the bus stop, 0.18 miles,
Yeah.
Teenagers.
to sit. Teenagers. We're talking 13, 14, 17, 18-year-old people
Mm-hmm.
waiting for the bus.
Yes. In their parents' car, that's their safe space. Safe space.
I don't get that shit.
I don't either.
And when I was walking,
Yeah.
there were a couple kids. I literally watched this. This mother was standing. Now, this girl was in high school. She's walking to the bus, and it's in eyesight. The bus stop is.
Right.
The mom's standing at the edge of the driveway, watching her 17-year-old daughter walk to the bus stop that's right there.
Right.
Just making sure she made it safe. And then I said to the young lady, "Good morning." She didn't say anything.
No. Not allowed to talk to strangers.
Really?
Yeah. You're about as strange as they come.
That's fucking bullshit. Do they know who I am?
Apparently not. Or
So anyways-
apparently they do.
That's the problem. They look you up online.
Maybe that's
It
it.
makes no sense to me, man. I was living by myself with my mom doing 3 jobs. I'm fucking 4 or 5 years old, taking care of my 2-year-old brother, making oatmeal by myself
Mhm.
for hours.
Mhm.
And these,
And look how you turned out. Awesome.
it works. It works. So that's it. That's the last thing I have.
Okay.
It's my goat.
Well, good enough.
Yeah.
Well, there, I don't know. I see what you're talking about too. And the other thing I see is when I leave in the morning, the kids that are standing at the bus stop, every one of them's got their head buried in their phone.
Oh, yeah.
Every single one of them.
Mhm.
Motherfucker,
Every
people
time.
got their faces buried in their phone while they're driving.
Yeah.
It's insane the amount of people I see on their phones.
Yeah. It's a shame. And you know, the thing about it is,
Which is why we take advantage of it.
yeah.
And we post videos and they watch us while they're driving.
You know, thinking back, and I don't want to go like, you know, when I grew up,
Back in my day.
things are different now.
When hot dogs were only a nickel.
Yeah, back when there was only one A and A and A. And I don't think times should be the same as they were back then because the world's different. So it's going to be different. But I just remember that a big part of the fun of going to school was walking to school. It was a fucking adventure. I mean, it took from where we lived, it was like a 40-minute walk.
Right.
There and back was also an adventure.
Mhm.
And, you know, fucking around with your friends and, you know, you don't have your parents standing at the end of the thing watching you the whole time.
Right.
That's where a lot of growing up and you know, I think the self-confidence and the, you know, being willing to get out there in the world. I mean, people now, there's not many, you know, drive down any neighborhood, there's not kids playing in the street. Not in
Well,
suburbia.
it goes to like my oldest son. I remember him coming to me and I was talking to him about some experiences he should have.
Mhm.
Like I took him out in the middle of the woods when he was let's see, he would have been 14, 15,
Mhm.
the first time I took him out. And he said, "I got this. I know what I'm doing. You can leave me alone." I said, "Well, what do you mean? I've never shown you how to do anything, how to make a tent or how to find food or anything." He goes, "I watched a YouTube video.
YouTube, hell yeah.
I know exactly what to do."
That's what they tell you at
Right.
Home Depot when you ask for help.
Yeah.
Check it out on YouTube.
So I said, you know what? You're right. You got this. So I let him go. Now the woods that I take people to, there's no trails, right? There's no campsite. There's nothing. It's never been mowed.
Chiggers.
Right. There's plenty of chiggers. So I left him alone, and within like maybe an hour, he's screaming, "Dad!" He's never had to deal with a boar. He's never had to deal with coyotes. He never had to deal with snakes because it was all on videos.
Right.
So he didn't know what the hell to do.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of things that we're missing out on life experiencing. The separation is getting harder and harder. You see these kids living with their parents, and it's just, and it's purely because they're enabled to not experience life. And then when their parents die, they're fucked because they won't have any idea how to stand at a goddamn bus stop by themselves. Then what are you gonna do?
Right.
And I know what they're gonna say out there in the world. They're gonna say, "We'll just Uber it."
Yeah.
Well, then you got it answered.
There you go.
But you guys are missing out on a lot of fun.
It's a new world.
I got my first kiss at a bus stop.
You did?
Yeah.
Your older lady?
From a girl.
Really?
Yeah.
Older homeless lady?
A real girl. Yeah. So,
A real girl.
yeah, a real life one. So. All right. You got anything else?
Not really. I don't have a whole lot to add.
Okay.
All right. You guys have made it to the end of the video. You're the true 1%ers.
All right.
Tell us if you learned anything in our topics today, even though they were jumbled bullshit. We love you guys.
That's right.
And come back for the next one.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Subscribe. What do they say? Subscribe.
Like, subscribe,
Yeah.
join our channel,
Yeah.
donate.
Oh,
We got
let me,
merch.
Let me do a disclaimer real quick. If you get offended by anything we say,
That's supposed to be at the beginning of the video.
you have to donate.
He is supposed to be at the
Because if
beginning.
you don't donate, your offense doesn't count.
That's right.
Okay.